and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Thursday, the 29th of October, 2020. I hope you've had a good week so far. I'm having a good week. It's busy. Been a busy, crazy week. So far, but it's been a good one. My co-hosts, Andy Hall and Nokasuchi. Andy Hall from the Laughing in Disbelief blog and Nokasuchi from the Rage channel here on YouTube will join me in just a minute. And we're going to talk about voting in person. You got to vote in person. It's too late. And we're going to talk about the voter oppression and all those kind of wonderful things right after this. Today's world is confusing, and there's too much information for one person to make sense of it all. Which credit card should I pay off first? Is non-fat milk good for me? Who should I vote for? Let's face it, if you can't figure out high-interest milk, then how can you be expected to make political decisions that influence a country of over 325 million people? Well, that's why there's fascism. Fascism is the political, social, and economic system for today's world. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines fascism as a political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts a nation, and often race, above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of the opposition. Choose this ideology and life will be easy. Did you ever look at someone who uses really big words and think, I wish those libtards would just disappear? Well, under fascism, your dreams can come true. Under fascism, you won't have to worry about the pesky little things like brown people or atheists, or who in your country is entitled to basic human rights and who is not. Hint, hint, the answer is nobody. Yes, friends, this truly is the final solution you've been looking for. And if you're concerned if this form of authoritarianism will be up to your high standards, don't worry. American fascism will be the best fascism in the world because it's been endorsed by Jesus. So go out and destroy freedom and democracy by getting fascism today. Paid for by the Fascio-Conservative Party, formerly known as the GOP. All right, everyone, good morning. Oh, we lost Nokasuchi. There he is. There's Nokasuchi. I had it set up from yesterday. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Andy. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well, sir.
Ready Everyone to complain about stuff?
God, I think I am. Yeah, I think I am. Yes.
Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning. Hey, Nokasuchi, how you doing, brother?
Pretty good. I'm feeling good. I go back to work today. Got right before stream right before we go live, and I noticed on my camera that my daughter has my dinner table all jacked up, so I'm off camera. OCD won't allow that. So.
Understood. No worries. Well, thank you for joining me this morning. I want to say hello to everybody in the Damn Nation. Thank you to all the people in the chat over there. Today we're streaming to even more platforms. Peep this, my homies. Today we're streaming to the Daily Atheist Morning Show channel. We're streaming to the Laughing in Disbelief channel as a syndicated network thing, and to the Rage channel as well, the Nokasuchi channel. We're also streaming the morning show there. We're streaming to almost 20 Facebook pages. We are streaming to now, just as a test, we're also streaming to my Discord. So if you're into Discord, we're also streaming to Discord. It slices, it dices, it makes julienne French fries. You can cut a beer can with it and still slice tomatoes razor thin. And we're also, in case the person actually hits the button and the monkey flips the switch. Flip the switch, monkey. And now we're also streaming to our podcast live. Sorry, guys, we're busy. So thank you all for joining us. We're streaming everywhere. We got a lot more people watching than normal. We're testing it out. So thank you all for joining us today. We're going to talk about the thing at the place with the stuff, because those bastards. Am I right?
Bastards.
Yeah,
bastards.
The male people. So yeah, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. So if you're a person. If you're an individual...
I'm a person.
Wait. Yes, you are. Well, That's a matter. You know what? You know why, though, right?
I'm not a good
when
person.
I close my eyes, you disappear.
No, this is true.
They're all gone. All of you are gone now.
You know, object permanence
back.
is a thing. I just want to say that. I have on very good information that object permanence is a thing.
It is a thing. It is. See, I'm not as dumb as I look. All right. So, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. We got a whole bunch of different chats all coalescing. Good morning, John Peterson, Spooky Bedhair, Free Spirit, and Hoodie Rodent. Nice to have you all with us from the various channels. I've got a unified chat. Hopefully, you can all actually see each other's chat across the different screens. Hopefully. So, Andy, you're going to vote on Election Day. Am I right?
Oh, me? No, sir. I have already put in my ballot.
Oh, you did it?
I placed in my ballot the other day along with my girlfriend, and we went down to our dedicated ballot postal box. I mean, it's not a regular mailbox. It's just a box that is an official box from the city of Somerville, the city that we live in, literally a 2-minute walk from where I live. Placed it in there, made sure I actually took a little, ballot selfie and a little ballot video. And yep, so we will be able to tell, we'll be able to go online and make sure that our ballot got counted like it was we did in the primary. So yeah, I am already, dude, I'm too old. I'm too old to go in line and risk getting sick. I can't do that. That's
For some reason, I thought in my brain that you were going to go do the thing at the place.
Rage is.
That's what I thought.
Rage is because he has a superpower right now, saying that he is just coming out of COVID-19. So approximately for 3 months, though there was that study that I think I mentioned the other day that there was a British study that showed that after 3 months, your antibodies against COVID are down by 26%. So you lose a quarter of your antibodies 3 months out.
And that's what they told me. After for 3 months I'm immune. After 3 months I can get it again.
Yeah. So once again, the antibodies are down by 25% after 3 months out. So it is something to be, so you have a small window of immunity, Rage, for anyone else who's recovering from COVID-19.
And they still recommend that I still take all the precautions, wear my mask, wash my hands, all of that stuff.
My understanding is that the second time, if you get sick the second time, it can be worse than the first because
I've heard that too.
You're still damaged. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Sure. I've heard the second time around can be pretty intense.
Yeah. Well, stay safe, obviously, to everybody.
Yeah. I know. Real quick. Like I am planning on going to the polls on election day. I'm going to talk to my boss when I get to work today and try to make sure I have it off, because we have reports and the police are on high alert that our armed militias here in Michigan have plans to do things at the polls.
Yes.
Sammy Jenkins, thank you for the $2 Australian of support to the channel. He says, is it because I'm not a real boy that you won't say hello? Good morning, Sammy Jenkins. How are you doing? Lee Spanner. We got a lot of people. We've got about over 50 people watching this morning on the various channels. So sorry if I haven't said hello like I normally do to everybody in the chat. You're all wonderful. We all love you. You're just fantastic. So pardon that. Thank you, though, for the support. Now, Andy's channel and Nokasuchi's channel are not monetized.
No.
They're not monetized yet. So, but if you want to support them, there are links down below where you can, right below in the description, where you can go throw them a cup of coffee if you want to support them, if you feel like you want to throw some coin at these guys for whatever reason. I don't know why you'd want to do that. But if you decided you wanted to do that, it's possible right under there.
I actually have a quiz for everyone. There was a report that came out by the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project naming 5 states in danger of physical violence on election day. 5 states.
Okay. 5 states.
I took this little quiz yesterday and I only got 3 out of 5 right, because there's some dark horses in this race for the 5 states that are most likely to see physical violence. Chris, I'm going to put you on the spot right now, sir.
Okay.
If you were going to say what 5 states would be in danger, most likely to be having physical violence on election day, what states would they be?
What states would they be? If I were to guess, I would say, if I were guessing man, I would say Florida, Texas, Michigan. No, is it Michigan? Maybe Minnesota, and Illinois. And let's go with California for fun.
Wow. All right. Mr. Rage. I don't know if Rage is still with us or if he's cleaning out the deep.
My stupid mute button.
Oh.
I would say Michigan, Ohio, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida.
Okay. All right. Interesting choices. So Chris mentioned Florida. I thought Texas too, Chris, to tell you the truth. My first guess was that Texas, being full of guns, would be a natural choice. But believe it or not, neither Texas or Florida are most likely to be violent in this election cycle, according to this report. Michigan, however, of course, right there, home of the, what's the name of the group? The Wolverine Watchmen.
The Wolverine Watchmen.
Sorry.
Every time it gets you.
I just can't help but laugh. Home of the Wolverine Watchmen. Yes, it is one of the 5 states in this report that are likely to see violence. Illinois? Nope. And California? No. So, Chris, I'm sorry, sir, you have failed the which states are most likely to hit physical violence with a score of 1 out of 5.
I've failed.
Mr. Rage, Michigan, of course, you got spot on. I also, and I have to tell you, Georgia is also one of the states that because it's so close in Georgia. Georgia is,
and they've been suppressing the black vote, so I expect something to go down there.
Right, some kind of crazy white person activity with guns.
Truth.
So Florida, of course, as I said earlier, is not a state in the top 5. Neither is North Carolina or Ohio. Mr. Rage, you have a bit of a better score than Chris. We're not shaming you, Chris, right here, but with a 2 out of 5. Now, the 5 states officially in this report by the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project, the 5 states that are most likely to see physical violence on Election Day are Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, and of course, Oregon, with Portland and all that other kind of.
The 3 swing states that decided the election in 2016 are on that list.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if you're living in one of these 5 states and you're going out on Election Day, I hope things.
Be careful.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah,
be careful.
Be careful.
I know we have the we have the ACLU and the NAACP are both going to be putting out people to observe the polls here in Michigan, and our police are, as I said on the news yesterday, it was announced that they are already on heightened alert because they are getting a lot of reports, and it's looking bleak here in Michigan.
They should just call out the National Guard, to tell you the truth, because it's like Charlottesville, right? You know it's coming. You know some kind of chaos is going, but you have to be able to have some kind of force to ensure that people behave properly.
Yeah.
There should be a real, and yes, if it was up to me, I would definitely have a lot of people making sure that that these militias were behaving themselves, because the worst case scenario is that you have like right-wing militias and left-wing militias, because there are a few, and showing up at the same place and stuff starts happening.
Well, yeah, and we do have some Antifa activity happening in Grand Rapids ever since the George Floyd thing. So yeah, we do have some leftist groups here as well. I will be out, even if I have to work earlier in the day. I will be out. I'll have all of my cameras on me. I'm going to be recording as much as I can, hopefully talking to people, and then checking in with you guys on your live stream here and there. So
fantastic. What? I was.
Well, I was going to invite you if you wanted to join us. I'm sorry, Andy.
Oh, no, go right ahead.
Okay, and if I don't have to work, I do plan on joining you after I get out and about and do the interviews and all of that stuff. But I'm like, if you're streaming while I'm doing it, then a couple times I'll check in as I'm doing it with you guys. And
I guess you should be telling you guys, I've actually been inviting people to come on the stream. We have Ian Harris definitely coming on, Satanist extraordinaire blogger, Jack Maturko coming on, for like maybe 15, 20 minutes. I don't know, just come on. talk with
Various
us.
times, yeah.
It's going to be at
Throughout the
various
day.
times. They're going to be coming in and be inviting a bunch of other people, comedians, bloggers, funny people, smart people. So it should be a lot of fun.
Hey, Vesta, part of the reason to answer Vesta's question is because it was all started back in the 17th century, and it took kind of time for things to move around. The 1700s, I'm sorry, whenever they did the Constitution, they formed the United States, it took a long time for things to happen, and they just never really changed from that method, I believe is kind of more the reason. Yeah. I think it's a good idea. A week. You should have a week to pack your shit and GTFO.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah.
The thing is about the United States Constitution is that it is very difficult to change, right? So that has strengths and that has problems to it too. And you see the problems with one vote, one time, and things totally changed with Brexit, right? There was like one vote, one time, very narrow vote. And guess what? The Brits are now out of the EU, or trying to get out of the EU, or I don't even know if they are officially out of the EU. But you see two different ends of the spectrum right there. A system which is very, very difficult to change. And then you have another system that it's like, well, we did this one vote, this one time, this one thing, and it was a close vote, but things are permanently changed. Oopsie. There has to be a better way. There has to be a better way.
Techno Apoc says at the Daily Atheist Morning Show, we should execute Order 1776. I'm not against that. I like it. Well, really, technically at this point, you're going to hate that I use these terms, but technically at this point, we should have a Tea Party preparing to revolt against the standing government. That's what we should have. Unfortunately, the Tea Party is the standing government. They took that moniker, but back in the day, there was the Tea Party was revolting against the people who did the Boston Tea Party were revolting against the powers. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, there's irony there, is what I'm saying. Irony is delicious, sick.
It's delicious.
And nutritious.
Well, yeah, it does have its blessings and its curse, and it's like Christianity became better because it had reformations, right? Like we have got to be able to reform when we see it necessary instead of going through an impossible process to do so. And I think that's why we're seeing so much civil unrest on the streets, is because we don't have a system to reform our government when we need to.
Right, that is responding fast enough, that isn't just burdened.
Right. Yeah, I mean, because right now to change the Constitution, it's almost impossible. It is impossible the way the country's split right now.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, our law enforcement fails. It fails. The corruption, our government became corrupted with money.
Yeah, well, this is true.
Over-corrupt. I mean, it's always been a little corrupt. Everybody knew it was a little corrupt. And, you had, oh, look, this person got investigated. Hey, they were there before being corrupt, but then they got investigated and removed. And they're like, oh, hey, there's others out there that are corrupt, and we know it. Yeah. But now the entire system, they over-corrupted the system.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say
it broke. It's a system to where even most good cops feel pressured to at least look the other way when they see bad behavior.
It is not uncommon for countries that have seen large successes to basically sow the seeds of their own problems in the midst of that success. So you see Rome, fighting off Carthage in the Punic Wars. Well, their success led to or helped feed into the dissolution of their republic into empire. There are a variety of different historical examples. Like for us, it would be the Cold War, right? So fighting the Cold War, being victorious in the Cold War, it just allowed us to be stupid and more corrupt than ever before because we didn't have any real competitor for a number of years.
True.
So we got to
look
screw
at where we
ourselves.
Are now. Sorry, say that again.
So we got to screw ourselves.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about this. I do want to talk about this article. Everyone knows me over time, has been read my material, knows that I'm a fan of the Economist magazine. The Economist magazine was first formed, I believe, in 1847, maybe 1843. Going in deep dive here, and to protest the Corn Laws in Britain, and there's probably a couple of people who understand what the Corn Laws are and have something to do with the Irish famine. So I like The Economist because they're a British magazine, and they have a way of looking into American politics. They are separate from us, but able to give a good analysis about the kind of mishigas, the kind of craziness that is going on here in the States. And they've come out just recently to support Joseph Biden for president. They have an article that's just free. There's a big paywall for a lot of the Economist articles, but this is open for all, and it says why it has to be Biden, and they lay out the groundwork, the argument for why, the reasonable argument too about why Donald Trump has to go and why Joseph Biden is the right guy for the job. And I'm just going to read a bit of it because it's a longish piece, but it's definitely worth your eyeballs if you have a chance to. It starts off with: the country that elected Donald Trump in 2016 was unhappy and divided. The country he is asking to re-elect him is more unhappy and more divided. After almost 4 years of his leadership, politics is even angrier than it was, and partisanship even less constrained. Daily life is consumed by a pandemic that has registered almost 230,000 deaths amid bickering, buck passing, and lies. Much of what is Mr. Trump's doing, and his victory on November 3rd would endorse it all. Joe Biden is not a miracle cure for what ails America, but he is a good man who will restore steadiness and civility to the White House. He is equipped to begin the long, difficult task of putting a fractured country back together again. That is why, if we, as in The Economist magazine, had a vote, it would go to Joe. And it just goes through a laundry list of some of the things actually that you can argue that Trump would be getting, as I've argued many times, that Trump would be getting a second term, not because he earned it, but because voters would feel that he deserved a second term. For an example, they state a couple of positive things about Trump. Before the pandemic, wages amongst the poorest quarter of workers were growing at 4.7% a year. That may have had nothing to do with Trump, mind you, right? But still, people were feeling better about having bigger paychecks. Some allies in NATO are now at least spending more on defense, of course. That's a positive thing, but that's only because they think that America is going to leave them high and dry in face of Russia. The arguments against Mr. Trump, of course, are crazy, and they are myriad. What's some of the things the most, this is a bit of the article, the most head-spinning feature of the Trump presidency is his contempt for the truth. All politicians prevaricate, but his administration has given America, quote, alternative facts, unquote. Nothing Mr. Trump says can be believed, including his claims that Mr. Biden is corrupt. His cheerleaders in the Republican Party feel obliged to defend him regardless, as they did in an impeachment that, bar one vote, went along party lines. Partisanship and lying undermine norms and institutions. That may sound fussy. Trump voters, after all, like his willingness to offend. But America's system of checks and balances suffers. This president calls for his opponents to be locked up. He uses the Department of Justice to conduct vendettas. He commutes the sentences of supporters convicted of serious crimes. He gives his family plum jobs in the White House. And he offers foreign governments protection in exchange for dirt on arrival. When a president casts doubt on the integrity of an election just because it might help him win, he undermines the democracy he was sworn to defend. And it just goes, The Economist, beautiful writing, straightforward, and that they explain well why they are supporting Joe Biden in this election cycle. So check it out. Why it has to be Biden is the name of the article. Well worth your eyeball time, if that's a phrase. Gotcha. I guess I'm making it a phrase right now.
Well, yeah, I agree. Like, even when you look at the policing issue that we were talking about, yeah, sure, Joe wants to pump more money in, and he says it's for different training and all of that. We have to keep the pressure up and keep him and bring him farther to the left on that. But his plan with the police is still far better than just the tons of money Donald Trump has been pumping into these police forces to make them more militarized and giving them pretty much the green light to abuse people and to use violence. when they feel like they need to. And I think that we need to get away from that. We need to go back to community policing and only use violence in absolutely necessary situations.
It is absurd to see how much our police do not de-escalate people or do not try to de-escalate people. Once again, having come from working with people who have intellectual disabilities and have been physically violent, there are ways of de-escalating a lot of people without having to get into a physical confrontation with them, without having to shoot them, definitely. And it would be nice to see the police at least tell us. Lie to me, police departments. Just lie to me. Lie. This is how bold they feel. They don't even have to. They don't feel. They're so arrogant. They feel like they don't even have to lie to us about that they're trying to de-escalate people. They're more like, F you. We're the police. Thin blue line, jingoism. We don't even have to pretend we're going to change, because that's not what we're about.
And you hear it from like citizens now, like they shouldn't have disrespected the police. No, that's not an excuse. No, that doesn't give you the right to murder somebody because they told you to go F yourself,
Right, exactly.
Awesome. Just doing some testing while you guys are doing your wonderful talk-alate, and I'm sitting over here testing and checking and seeing.
Remember, Sammy Jenkins says, "Why de-escalate when you can stand back and stand by?"
Did you see what Critical Cripple said?
Why de-escalate when you have a gun? Well said. And a gun, not only is it a gun, but it's a gun like I don't even know how many bullets are in one of those pistols. It's like either like an infinity gun. They just kind of like, because whenever you see these police videos, right? One guy, one cop, and the guy just goes like this, like bam, 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 bam. And it's like, how many rounds are in? You talk about civilians not having too many rounds in our magazines. Maybe there should be a police regulation saying that they should only have so many rounds in their magazines, so that if they go oopsie and shoot an innocent person, they only shoot them with maybe 5 bullets or 6 bullets, as against the 30 or 15 or however the amount is.
That's crazy talk.
It is crazy. Well, that's what I do here, Chris. I just do crazy talk.
It's all working.
Is it working, Chris? Is it working? Is it working?
I'm having a nerdgasm here, folks. You guys just carry on with your morning show. I'm nerding out. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining.
Yeah, that's actually pretty sweet that it's working like that, honestly.
I turned off the bot, so now if you want to see the unified chat between all 3 channels and Facebook, even Facebook is working, and Discord, by the way. If you're watching Discord, it should be going in Discord. It should all be on the screen. Just read the text that's on the screen and type your responses in your own chat. The only thing that doesn't seem to work yet, guys, is the voting. Now, something else I want to get Andy. I want to set up a Streamlabs account for Andy, since I suspect he doesn't have it. That way we can get an alerts for Andy. So whenever somebody tips Andy, it'll pop up and it'll go, hey, you've tipped Andy. So people watching Andy's show, can tip Andy, or people can tip Nokasuchi, so I can get a Streamlabs alerts in there. So whenever somebody tips Nokasuchi,
the only tips I'm gonna be getting are things like, you should have finished graduate school, Andy. Why didn't you do that thesis like you said you were gonna do?
Don't take wooden nickels.
Right. Those are the kind of tips I'm gonna. Well, I mean, if you do decide to tip me, that would be great. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. That cup of coffee thing has been wonderful since you turned me onto it, didn't you, Andy?
I did tell you about it. Yeah.
And I turned Nokasuchi onto it. I got 3. Somebody bought me 3 cups of coffee yesterday. I told the wife when she gets. You people would have no idea how much the simple thing. My wife makes a lot of money. And I'm like, look, we got $15 yesterday. I'm all excited. And she's, honey, that's great. That's fantastic. She answers the phone call from work, and that's $50.
Right. well, but I want to keep this a PG rated show, but whenever I say something like that to my girlfriend, and she gives me a similar response, it makes me think of the times I've been pity effed since I shouldn't be swearing. You know,
Yes,
not
yes,
that
we're
I
trying
have
to be
been
good on the
pity-
morning show.
Not that I have been pity effed before, but it does make me feel I'm being rhetorically pity effed at that point.
I suspect you have.
I suspect so, sir. You know, it is funny. You go down your list of all the times, and you go, this looks suspect. This looks suspect this time right here.
You know, yeah, true enough. Somebody out there, I'm sure they took one for the team. I'm just saying.
Right.
Poor. Thank you, Ian Davenport, for the $5 Australian of
Thank you, sir.
support to the channel. We appreciate it. True enough. So real quick, let me ask. I'm going to toggle this poll. Again, it only works if you're watching on the Daily Atheist Morning Show live, I think. On my stream. But if really, have you voted yet? People, we've got plenty of people watching on my channel alone. Have you voted? And people watching on Nokasuchi and Andy's channel and Facebook, try to vote and let me know. Show me if it tests, if it works or not. There's that Ian Davenport. That's the money from Ian.
No, that's the money.
Unless that was more money from Ian. You never know. I don't know. But thank you, Ian, for the support. We appreciate it. Yeah, let me see if there's a sticker. Yes. It's a sticker.
I just voted, so we'll see if mine registered.
Okay, cool. So far it says no. Have you voted yet? That's what we were getting, Nokasuchi. Have you voted yet?
No, I was going to. I had my mail-in ballot, but when I got COVID, I pretty much immediately decided I'm going to go and vote in person.
Gotcha. Yeah, on the day of?
Yes, on the day of.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I plan on getting out when the polls open, and I'm going to take all of my cameras. So I don't want to come back until, depending on if I can get a babysitter for my daughter, I don't want to come back until evening time.
Pro tip here: you should have a GoPro camera facing behind you, so when you get attacked from behind, we'll be able to say, "Look out, Rage!"
That might be a really good idea. Yeah.
You get 360 degrees. So if there's a beat down, you get to see it all the way around. Yeah, the show got dark pretty fast.
It would go viral. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, it would. Yes, it would. Well, on that day, we're going to be doing. That's the deal too. If you're up for it, we can stream the election to your channel as well, live to your channel. And whenever you're out on the polls, you can break in with I'll send you a link, the normal link, and you can pop in with your phone or whatever live, and you can show us live stream and stuff like that. If you want to join us,
I'll be
totally for the show.
Yeah, I'd be totally down for that. And I should know tonight if I'll have an election day off, but I should, because they're supposed to be taking it easy on me right at first. Let me ease my way back into work.
I have a philosopher, a tippling philosopher. He runs a blog. That's the name of his job. Blog on Patheos. Jonathan Pierce, writer of many books for smart people. He's been on my channel a number of times, and he is completely befuddled, confused, and scared of our elections. And he's going to be joining us actually on election night, and so it'll be interesting to see what his responses are to the incredible insanity that goes on here.
Yeah. Well, so we're going to have, I want to see how many people like the rage we can get out there popping in off and on throughout this. We're going to be streaming probably for 6 to 10, 8,
well,
somewhere.
We're starting
in
at
there
4 p.m. And dude, I don't see things any before midnight, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, I did something like this the last time in 2016, and I'm going to be drinking a lot less. I just want to say that this time around, I'll be prudent and mature about my drinking habits. I say that now, of course, but
we should put the word out there, though. Put the word out.
Yeah. So,
I just thought about that. I don't drink anymore. If the worst happens, how am I going to drown my sorrows? This will be like the first fucking.
There's a river nearby.
I dropped an F-bomb. But this will be like the first election I'm not drinking. So.
Well, we dilute the drinks, indeed, Critical Cripple. I will dilute the drinks.
Well, we need to get the word out there, though. That if you're going to be in line voting the day of or the evening of, that hey, let me know and we'll get you a link and have other people popping in, and get as much of that going on as we can. I'd like to get as much coverage of the actual election as we can.
Especially if you're in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, or Oregon, where the
Hashtag truth.
where it could be really crazy. That would be, of course, we don't want to put anyone in danger unless they're like rage, and that's okay.
Well, yeah, I usually don't worry about it. I'm a big man, so people usually leave me alone.
There are companies here in the States, even though Election Day is not an official holiday. The girlfriend of the chat rightly says her company has Election Day off. Like, so everyone within their small company has Election Day off to go vote, which is really nice. And more companies should be doing that.
Yeah, I think it should be a national holiday. Everybody get a paid day off to go vote and do their civic duty. Pay attention to the polls. Pay attention to what's happening. Be excited about it.
Hey, I didn't say paid day off. That's socialism.
Yeah, I'm kind of a socialist.
I think they could afford it. I think they could probably afford it.
So I don't know if
I don't see why the government couldn't give that back as a stipend to the business.
Of course they could do.
You had to pay 50 employees for a day off. That's a lot of money. The government should. I mean, if they're going to do that, that should be the case. I don't see why not. The government can obviously afford it more than the business can.
I don't know if you guys saw this article. It came out. Today's Thursday, right? Back me up on this, guys. Today's Thursday. All right, so it came out yesterday. The name of the article on CNN says Jared Kushner bragged in April that Trump was taking the country, quote, back from the doctors.
Back from the doctors. I saw that.
Back from the doctors. I'm just going to read you this gem, this little slice of insanity. In a taped interview on April 18th, Kushner told legendary journalist Bob Woodward that Trump was, quote, getting the country back from the doctors, unquote, in which he called, quote, a negotiated settlement, unquote. Kushner also proclaimed the U.S. was moving swiftly through the panic phase and pain phrase of the pandemic, and that the company was at the beginning of the comeback phase.
I was just watching Bob Woodward's interviews with Kushner, where he's talking about how Trump did a hostile takeover of the Republican Party. That was interesting.
Well, I mean, that is true. Trump consumed it. He devouring it as the way progressives need to do so with the Democrats.
Oh yeah, in a much more positive way. Yeah, it's what he has done has really been kind of scary. Like, we kind of saw it back with George Bush, but like, it's just like George Bush times 1,000 now. It's and we thought George Bush was stupid, and the level of ineptitude from this administration just takes the cake.
Bush the younger, you can say a lot about him. And his brain was fried from being an alcoholic, and you could tell he had all the signs of someone in recovery who just didn't think straight. After so many years of abuse. But at no point in time did I think. And even though he was a war criminal, I'm not saying he's not a war criminal. Bush the younger.
You wouldn't say that. You would never say that. Would you?
I wouldn't say. But what I would say is that at no point did I think Bush had malice in his heart. I think he just was in way over his head. Cheney was the one calling the shots. Of course, these are not original ideas on my part. But the thing is, with Trump, I don't think any rational person would argue against the fact that Trump is basically a high-functioning sociopath.
Yeah, I never worried with Bush, and he is a damn war criminal, but I never worried he'd push that button just to see what it would do, right?
Things are kind of slow right now. I want to kick it up a notch. Let's see what this button does. No. Totally. But that's what sociopaths do. They don't feel anything inside, and so they're looking for this constant stream of external stimulation. And so that's what they do. They're just like, wow, things are really quiet right now. I just gotta mix the pot up a bit.
I auto-stimulate.
Pluck my eyes out with that. But the image is still in my head. The image is still in my head.
Just throw that out there.
Oh, man. So, yeah, Jared Kushner basically saying, yay, Trump was able to fight the scientists back.
Yeah.
We won. If that isn't so American, I don't know what is.
Oh, but it's not. It's not supposed to be. That's not the America that's not what I envisioned as an America. I was obviously, I was a fool. You know, the difference between then when I was a fool and now
Gray hair?
is almost nothing.
There's almost nothing.
Oh, I mean, I was a fool then, and I thought, America is like this Captain America kind of really exemplifies what America is. We're all fighting for other people's rights, and we're good, and we're wholesome, and all that. And then really in the real, we were overthrowing governments and overthrowing democratic governments and giving them to theocratic, religious nutbags, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we've done, our government has done horrible things all while going, here I am to save the day.
Right.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
I'm not wrong.
Well, it's
and that was what I wrote. So now I'm sitting here going, the government is this and this and this, and you bitches need to be woke. And in reality, I'm probably still wrong. There's a bigger picture, even though I think I see the bigger picture now. I'm probably still wrong. Just
well,
hedging my bets.
I have a T-shirt on my Teespring. This is another cheap plug for Andy. But it says, aspire to be less wrong. I think that's all we can do is to aspire to be less wrong. I think that's actually what science does in a weird way, is that we understand that there's a lot of things we don't know, but we should try to be less wrong every day. And
as often as we can.
As often as we can? Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, Chris. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you're out there, let us know if you voted in person in the chat. Let us know. I mean, the poll works, but it only works for people watching on my channel. Let us know. Have you already voted? Do not vote by mail. The tone of the show is, don't think, the mail, because really the election is like 5 days away. Cinco dias away from now.
So close now.
And we gotta, it's closer than you think. It feels, it's like we've been abused for so long, you don't realize the end is near.
I remember.
Wow.
I remember it, and I'm sure you guys do too. Like when it sunk in that Trump was president, and you realized we've got 4 freaking years, right?
Yeah,
and now we're 5 days away from possibly this dude being out of office. I mean,
no.
Wow.
True. So I tell you, I've been looking forward to it. I'm ready for it. Again, we're gonna stream the show, but I mean, you know what I'm looking forward to? I don't know what the hell is gonna happen. Truth. #truth. I have no idea. Got lots of conjecture, lots of ideas, no idea what's going to happen. But I am so ready for it to be over. It's like watching a movie and you're just like, you know what? I am done. It's a 3-hour movie. Please end. Maybe I'll have a heart attack. Or something.
Well, if you could wait to do it on the show, Chris, that would be great. Preferably at the end, so people would have to watch it. The views would be just crazy.
I'm coming, Elizabeth. I'm coming.
On a bright note, trying to bring the party up a little bit, is that 538 states that the Democrats have a 76% chance of winning the Senate. 76% chance of winning the Senate, and that means having over 50 senators. So this is a bit of positivity that I'm dropping down right now.
Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. And I know the Hannitys of the world and the Limbaughs, they're pushing this shy Trump voter narrative. But I just don't think that happens anymore. I think it happened in 2016.
Yeah,
but I think Trump supporters are deeply trenched in now and aren't afraid to say I'm for Trump. So I think that we're seeing a pretty good reflection in the polls this time around.
I think there may be a few of those out there. There might be a few, but we're talking 300 million people. There's bound to be a few, but nothing like last time. And the people out there who didn't vote last time, who are rushing to the polls this time, I believe that number far outweighs any sleeper Trump supporters out there.
I think we're on track to have more votes in this election than ever before.
Ever.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I will say this, is that I'm looking at the polls in Pennsylvania, and there's a lot of crap polls. because 538 not only tells you what poll, but how they are graded. So, so there's a lot of B plus, B, C, C, B minus polls. And the best poll that they have right now that was a Fox News poll, believe it or not, has a rating of A minus, and that gives Biden, a 5% lead in Pennsylvania. And Biden doesn't have to win Pennsylvania, but he kind of needs to win Pennsylvania to make it easier.
Lee Spanner in the chat said Trump is that recording that is played the 100th time in a day during your favorite radio show, smashing the radio with a hammer. It's one of those. It's like, that's a good analogy. That's not a bad analogy. The way I kind of feel about it is, it's like you're sitting there and somebody walks and they're like they're gonna hit you. They try to get you to flinch like they're gonna hit you. And every day is a flinch. They're gonna hit you, and you're like, oh, but they don't hit you. You're like, oh, so it's like this constant trauma every day. I'm ready for that person to be removed, like being on a train, ready for them to be removed from the train. Every day you got to get up, you got to go to work on a train, and you sit down in your spot, and there's this jackass who walks by, and he acts like he's going to hit you every day. Every day you got to go through that. I'm like, I'm sick of it. I want that jackass off my train. Yeah, and that's Trump. I want him off.
I just got to give Lee Spanner, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, sir, in the chat, some credit, a lot of credit, because he voted on Saturday and he had to stand in line outside for over 3 hours to vote.
Way to go.
Job well done, sir. Thank you.
There's a lot of that going on. A lot of people are standing out there in the cold. Now, the other day, since we're talking about standing out in the cold, you guys want to briefly touch on that little Trump rally where they...
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? I'm not laughing. I wasn't laughing.
I'm not surprised. Trumpers getting trapped in the cold to see their God. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So what do you? I mean, my understanding is they bust a bunch of them out there, and then they had a hard time getting the buses back to get them home. It's not that they just left them out there. It's that, but that's my understanding. I just think it's funny. Based on the news we get.
Well, and it goes to like understanding logistics when you're planning out these events. Like if there's going to be a snowstorm and your supporters might get trapped in the freezing cold, maybe that rally you just postpone.
Right. Well, Trump has here. Dr. Mordecai Cassius Marcellus. It ends. I can't see the rest of it. There it is. Jones says Trump done pissed me off. You know what? Trump has pissed off a lot of people. I know several people who've never voted before, including the mother-in-law, we're just sitting there one day and the phone rings and the wife is like, hello? Yeah, okay. Wow, really? Okay. All right, we'll do it. Click. She's like, Mom wants me to take her down to vote. I'm like, really? Yeah, her first time ever, I think. I'm not sure. But it's been a long time since she's voted. She hasn't registered. We got her registered. We got her voted. We helped her, carried her down there, got her voted, did the thing. The son-in-law voted, never voted before. You know what I mean? People who have never voted before are lining up.
That's great.
Right. You never know how important it is. It's not important. It doesn't matter. You ain't got to vote. It ain't going to change nothing until your country is on the brink of bald-faced fascism.
Yep.
Then you're like, well, wait a second.
Well,
little vote.
And I think more and more people are starting to realize Obamacare is really at risk now, and all these people that have talked smack about it, they're on it, and they're going to lose pre-existing conditions. Trump is openly attacking Social Security now. I mean, this is like across the board. People are up in arms. They have been for a while, but Andy has talked about it on this show almost every morning. COVID has been a catastrophe for Trump, and it has really exposed not only Trump but the Republican Party.
Yeah. Yes, all of that. Yes. It's just, sometimes my brain gets flooded with it's either going with the crappy jokes or with the news stories. But once again, I just want to remind my friends in the chat and people who are listening, Trump is a logical end product of 40 years of Republican policies. The hollowing out of the country,
the dumbing down of the schools,
the dumbing down of the population, So once again, if Biden and the Democrats get into office, do not be lulled into thinking that the Republicans have an answer, because their answer would be just driving us back into crisis again. That's
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, we've done the hour just about. Andy, what do you got going on today? You have anything else going on today?
I had this incredible conversation with a harmonic atheist yesterday, Tim Mills.
Yesterday.
Tim
Good stuff.
is one of those people that, I'm just smart enough to understand how smart he is. We talked about everything from astrotheology to trading, stocks, Forex. We covered a whole ton, and his background is pretty incredible too. He just deconverted 13 months ago. So we just didn't talk about his deconversion story. We talked a lot about other topics too. So that was yesterday. You can find that on my channel. I'm talking with Caitlin Bailey, who was a teenage sex worker in high school. She is a comedian. She is working to decriminalize, sex work. She's on my show tomorrow at 11 a.m. So yeah, crazy stuff, Chris. And of course, whatever I do here, I don't even know what I do here, Chris. I just know that I talk for an hour. That's all I do.
You do. It's fun though. It's fun.
It is fun. I have a lot of fun here. Because on my channel, I feel like, when I'm actually interviewing people, I need to be serious and thinking, and every once in a while I can throw a joke in. But here, I feel like I can just run rampant.
True, you can. Nokasuchi, brother, what do you got going on the rest of the day?
Well, I'm back to work today. I might do a stream, but I'm thinking I'd probably take the day off from streaming. I have a Mr. Batman video that I want to get up, so I'll probably do that. And do a stream tomorrow on something I'm not sure. But I'm always talking to Christians, and you guys can always usually find me in some rooms. If you're looking around Christian sites, you can usually find me popping in and out. So, yeah.
Awesome. Wonderful. So we will see you guys. I'm just doing my normal nerding, building the show and doing the thing at the place. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you all. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, The Rage. Thank you, everybody in the damnation, all the people in the chat who joined us and who are watching the show, and the people on Facebook and YouTube and the podcast live, and the people listening on Discord. Hey, look at that. I did that. I'm not as dumb as I look. You guys have a wonderful day. We will see you mañana. Take care.
Be strong.
Thank you for watching the show. A special shout out to my gold level Patreon supporters, Cindy Plaza and Ian Davenport. Thank you and have a great day.